So everybody's making out with Shrek. Is that the new fetish? As always, follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X. And obviously follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. So, of course, we had, the Thanksgiving weekend. I hope you guys had a great time. I managed to spend Thanksgiving with my brother, my sister-in-laws, along with my nieces and my nephew, which was pretty fun. I'm barely back home. I'm trying to recover and reset my sleep schedule because we've been going to sleep literally at 2 a.m. in the morning, just having so much fun. But I'm back home and we have a lot to cover. But first, I'm obviously on my TikTok account right now, there's a video that's blowing up that I posted for Black Friday. So we went shopping and we were waiting because some areas, obviously here in Houston, we have outlet malls. And we went to an outlet mall that's not that far from, their house. So we saw a bunch of people just waiting in lines, and everybody started going to separate shops. So me and my nieces went to a few shops, and then when we came back, we were waiting on my brother and my nephew to shop, and we were just sitting down, and I couldn't help but to notice there were so many people trying to open a door that has a big ass sign that says use the other entrance, not door, entrance. And I was telling my nieces, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a TikTok video because this is just too stupid. It's sad and stupid at the same time. And we posted it on Friday and it started blowing up yesterday and it's still blowing up today. It has 148,000 views. However, the like part is really less. Last time I checked, it was at 6,000 likes and it's still going up. Basically, it's just a lot of people just opening up a door that has a sign saying to use the other entrance. It's people can't read. And I love how everybody who has seen the video is commenting on that video and sharing their experience, because retail is a whole different level. You have not seen the reality of this world until you have worked in retail. Retail shows you so much shit that goes on, and it makes you start seeing the world in a different area or in a different mindset, basically. So I really love that. And you know how on the last episode I was I was at 419 followers. Well, forget 420. I'm getting closer to 430 now. I think last time I checked I was at 428 followers. So definitely follow me on TikTok. We surpassed that 420 milestone now. On to 500 followers maybe. But now I have over 100K likes, literally 100,000 likes on just, I don't know, maybe I want to say 15, 20, less than 20 videos alone on TikTok. So it's pretty crazy. Definitely follow me on TikTok. You just don't know what I'm going to be posting at this point because shit happens to me. And if I have a laugh of it, I'm pretty sure I'm going to post it and, go ahead and you guys have a laugh as well, because TikTok is just for entertainment at this point. But definitely follow my TikTok account, because sweet Jesus, I was not expecting for that video to start blowing up. I'm trying to see if it's gonna reach to 10K, and that'll be my third semi-viral video at this point. Obviously the other two is Cosmo trying to choose her man, and the other one is Papa wearing the cowboy hat that we had on the concert when they were here. Actually, and it's funny too, because when we were Black Friday shopping, I was wearing my ghost hoodie. She saw the hoodie and she was like, oh, hey, you went to the concert? And I was like, yeah. And then I started telling her oh, I recorded this video, you should check it out. And she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to look you up. Shout out to her if she's listening. But yeah, she was working at Bath and Body Works, and me, I was trying to shop for a white elephant game. It's already Christmas season, y'all. I know these Black Friday deals are happening, and it's everybody was trying to get presents, stuff to spoil themselves with. I think myself, the only thing I needed was a vacuum mop, which we finally got. And it's heaven for me. I'm oh. Other than that, I'm shopping obviously for my brother, my sister-in-law, my nieces, and my nephews, because I think that they're the only family that I kind of talk to the most. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna spoil them. And obviously, I thank them so much for letting me spend Thanksgiving with them. So I'm spending Christmas and New Year's with them as well. It's so much fun. Like, you can hear from my voice, I'm tired. But at the end of the day, I'm like, anything to reset my schedule, because we're gonna go back to work tomorrow, and it's gonna be like, what, 3 more weeks until we get that Christmas break. I'm like, I can't wait though. I'm excited. But anywho, we have a lot to cover. Of course, you read the title. We're gonna be talking about Survivor Series War Games. A lot of shit happened last night. And I'm pretty sure if you have not heard, I've been talking about this for 2 episodes. I want to say 2-3 episodes straight about my predictions of War Games, and we will be talking about that at the very very end of the episode, of course, because again, we do have a lot to cover on pop culture. There's so much drama on here. But yeah, I cannot wait. I'm like, finally, wrestling again is entertaining. Let's go. So anywho, let's go ahead and start the show. I actually finally started watching Apple TV. And, because I got my new phone, and my new phone is like, hey, you still haven't even subscribed to Apple TV Plus. Here's 3 months free. And I'm like, I'm tempted to do it, but I'm just like, well, even if I do it, what am I going to watch? Well, I thought, and I started looking it up, and I forgot that Monarch, Legacy of Monsters show is actually on Apple TV Plus right now. And I'm like, all right, let's go ahead and do it. And so it's a series that it's still ongoing. It's just like the series how we have in Disney Plus or any other series where they just release on certain days, and you have to wait a week for the new episode to get released. So right now, Legacy of Monsters is like at 3 or 4 episodes in, and holy shit, it is intense and entertaining for me. So I'm like, yeah, I highly recommend this show, even though we are already a few episodes in. I do highly recommend it. If you do not have Apple TV Plus, obviously there is a free trial for you to actually try for 3 months, especially for Black Friday. If you have not been a subscriber, you still have that offer deal to try it. Or if anything, like one of the biggest hack is because I think if not, you can probably do like a week or 2 months. But if you really want the 3rd month free trial, just buy something off of Amazon. Buy something off of Best Buy. Best Buy will hook you up and will try to get you even like a 3-month subscription of Apple Music. And of course, this podcast is available on Apple Podcasts. Shout out to everybody that is listening on that platform. So yeah, I'm really grateful that you guys are listening. I've seen so many other people that are listening in different areas, especially in Pandora, iHeart, Amazon Music, just anywhere at this point. Shout out to all of y'all. Send y'all kisses from there. But anywho, back to the series. So the series itself, if you guys are watching Godzilla, or just have heard of it, this show will basically give you awareness of this program or organization, however you call it, called Monarch, and what are they in charge of. We have seen Monarch in so many Godzilla movies, including Kong. So you're trying to figure out, like, what do they do? What are they in charge of? Why do we keep seeing them? This series will help you understand that, while also seeing other versions of creatures that exists in this quote monsterverse that we call it. Now, the timeline for this one, we have 2 separate timelines that take place. I'm not going to try to talk about the whole series here because obviously I don't know what's going on, but I'll try my best not to spoil it as well. But for the timeline purposes, there's 2 separate timelines that we see here in the series. One, I want to say it's the 70s, and then the other one is 2015. Now, once you hear 2015, you have to be aware that these events that are happening are going to be right after Godzilla 2014, the one that came out with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson. So if you want to watch Godzilla, the 2014 version, definitely go check it out and then go watch the series so that way you know what's going on. Now, one thing I did wanted to point out is that we have actors Kurt and Wyatt Russell, the father and son duo are part of the series, and they are literally playing the same character but in those two separate timelines. And I think that's just beautiful. I think it's like, it's so brilliant that they're using them to be in the series and portray that character, because they literally look alike. But yeah, I definitely do recommend it if you are trying to figure out what to watch. And it's funny too, because like I want to say in the last episode I was like, I just finished Gen B and now I need to find something else to watch. Well, I'm watching Monarch, but I'm also watching another show on Apple TV Plus that's called The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and I want to say Reese Witherspoon. And I'm just like, this show is very crazy because you get to see the other version of journalism, of how they are. And me, I study communications, but it's so close to journalism. So I have an idea how it works in that aspect. But with this, it's like, it's a drama series. And the way how they talk of each other, or other competitors, or just anything else of what's happening in that storyline, it's very intense. It's very hooking too. I want to say there's like 4 or 5 seasons already in, so I'm barely on season 1, and I'm just like, oh yeah, now I have something to watch. And there's so many other things to watch now for me, and thank God for Black Friday, because sweet Jesus, they have so many subscription deals for those that are like non-subscribers, because I'm only subscribed to like Disney, Hulu, and for who else? Peacock. I'm already subscribed to, but I'm not subscribed to like Paramount Plus, for example. And they were like, oh hey, there's a trial. I want to say it was like for 3 months you pay $3 each, I want to say, and not including taxes. And I was like, fuck yeah, because there's two series on there that are linked to Yellowstone, which are prequels, and I finished Yellowstone, so I'm like, okay, I need to learn more and try to probably entertain myself until the new season comes out. So yeah, there's so many things for me to watch these next 3 months, and I got you covered for sure. But anywho, aside from that, let's go ahead and move on with a few more pop culture news. For example, like we already had the announcement that Dave Filoni has been announced as the Lucasfilm's chief creator officer. So he has been releasing so many good series, and he has basically, I guess, swept us away for those that are big on Star Wars. So for those that do not know, he wrote, produced, and directed Clone Wars, Rebels, Tales of the Jedi, Resistance, The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. So these are some really good series to have. And again, because he always tries to link these stories from, the animated series, it basically helps us, for those who grew up watching the animated series on Disney XD. I think that's what the channel was. It's like, it helped us a lot, and just to see the live action version of it, it's like, we need more. Like, the fans are wanting more, and Dave did a really great job with these series. So obviously he deserves that promotion for sure. And I cannot wait to see what else he's bringing. I'm ready for the new Mandalorian season. I cannot wait to see that one for sure. But everything's starting to go back to its course after the whole negotiation deals that they have for the SAG-AFTRA. So I'm like, I cannot wait to see what's coming up. But definitely congratulations to Dave for getting that new promotion. They also announced that they're going to be creating a new movie sequel for Creed, starring Michael B. Jordan. So Creed 4 announced that the movie itself will be directed by Michael B. Jordan. And I'm like, damn, homeboy's gonna be acting and directing. It's like, it's a double job. But yeah, if you guys do not know, Creed is like, literally, it's not like a sequel to Rocky, but you could think of it, because we saw Rocky, or Sylvester Stallone in the first and second Creed, if I'm not mistaken. And so I'm like, I watched them. I actually watched Creed 3 while I was in San Antonio. So I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go back again. But no, yeah, I've seen Creed, and I'm like, I cannot wait to see Creed 4. I don't know what's gonna happen. My favorite one though was Creed 2. So definitely go check out that series if you guys have not. And right now they're with all these Black Friday deals, or Cyber Monday deals. I'm pretty sure you can either buy it or rent it for a really low price. So definitely go do so. Another announcement that they did say, apparently Tim Allen, who people do not know, he voices Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story movies. And he announced that Disney actually reached out to him and Tom Hanks to see if there's going to be a Toy Story 5. And even Tim Allen himself says, I think that's too much. Like, do you guys agree? Me personally, if you guys have not seen Toy Story 4, I love Toy Story movies. You know, again, I grew up with them. Toy Story 4 was a good way to end that series. But I'm like, what in the hell are they going to do with Toy Story 5? Honestly, I feel like Disney's just trying to find ways to make money. And I feel like Toy Story 5 is just not going to be it. So I'm like, move aside. Go do something else. But he didn't even say, like Tim Allen didn't say if they accept it or not. He just said it's too much. Interesting. Anywho, now there is Scream drama, and when I mean Scream, I'm talking the horror movie Scream. So of course I don't get political with, you know, topics that's been happening, especially with the whole Israel and the Hamas war. But for the purpose of this little entertainment, I will talk about what happened, and that's it. I'm not gonna put my opinion on it because again, it is a political issue, and I'm just gonna, you know, do I talk about it like outside? Probably so, but that's all you need to know. So anywho, Scream 7 is already in the works because again, SAG-AFTRA is, you know, negotiated and everything. And I'm over here like, Scream 7, really? Like me personally, I think they also need to stop. Is just how I say with Toy Story 5, it's the same way with Scream. However, they announced that they dropped the lead actress of the movie, who is Melissa Barrera, and the reason why they dropped her was because she was posting about the Israel-Hamas war as a form of hate speech. Now, interestingly enough, the moment they made the announcement, we also found out that Jenna Ortega dropped herself out of the movie due to, quote, scheduling conflicts, because she is also preparing to film the second season of Netflix's show Wednesday, which again I have not seen because I don't give a shit about Netflix at this point. But some people are also putting on the comments of this, of like, you know, of the announcement, saying maybe it's not because of Wednesday because she supports Melissa Barrera. But I'm just like, you know what, people are trying to find out the negative out of this, you know, instead of the reality, because again, everything's coming back on track. And there's a possibility that actors who has several projects to films is gonna be conflicted with everything else. So this might be one of the reasons. Now, because they already have not only the lead actress, but the co-lead actress, which was Jenna Ortega, now the Scream people or the Scream filmmakers are trying to find who will be replacing them. And they're eyeing to see if they can bring back Neve Campbell, who was in the original Scream movies. However, keep in mind, she was not a part of Scream 6. And I'm just like, and this is where I say maybe they just need to end Scream overall, because it's just the more you prolong it, the more it's just not gonna make sense, and people are just watching it just because. You know, I haven't seen Scream 6 honestly because of that. I'm like, now they're trying to give, yeah, like I understand they're trying to give a whole new generation of people for the storyline, because the original cast members are, quote, either old or just, you know, they're doing other things, whatever it is. But at the same time, it's like, you can't just prolong it, you know. And Scream is one of those movies. Of course, we already seen like Halloween, for example. Halloween got redone, but it did so bad. Even though they brought back the original actress, which I already forgot her name. Oh my God. Jamie Lee Curtis. There we go. They brought back Jamie Lee Curtis on here, even though there was technically two other generations of her family, but it did so well. Either both on the box office or in streaming on Peacock. So it's like, and Scream is one of them. So it's like, just stop at this point. I mean, they should have thought about it. Like, not even, they could have just ended it at Scream 5 at this point. Scream 4 was like, meh. They could have just ended it at Scream 5 and then call it a day. But you know what? People just trying to find ways to make more money. And I think here it's like, no, no. But yeah, that's the Scream drama that I needed to take off my chest. Another thing that a lot of people are also talking about is that we have not seen the ending of the Game of Thrones series. I was just talking about this, but I was talking about TikTok characters. But we have learned that George R. Martin has only written 100. Oh, sorry, not 100, 1,100 pages of the book so far, and he is struggling to complete it. Because of this, fans are losing hope of this book will ever be finished. It will not at this point. And I'm just like, of course, a lot of people were not happy of the ending of Game of Thrones, of the series itself that was on HBO. So it's like George did say that he was going to make it different in his book. But the series ended literally, in 2019? And the only reason why I remember this is because Avengers came out. But yeah, the series ended like 2, 3, 4, wait, not even 3, 4 years ago. We're leading to maybe 5, and we still have not gotten the ending of the book. So it's like, if it does get released, good. If not, we will never know how it might have been properly ended. And I mean, I can understand that maybe George is struggling because he's trying to make it different. But I think some of us as the fans are like, we know how the book should end. We already voiced our opinions and he could have taken it in so that way he could have made a successful book. But I'm just like, still, 1,100 pages is still a lot of stuff to cover. I wonder how much, like how fat this book will be, unless make it into like split it into 2 parts and wait for anticipation, you know? But me honestly, if it does come out, I'm not gonna read the book. I'm too tired to read. You know, reading makes me sleepy. And it's funny because we were just talking about that video that I posted where people cannot read. I can read, y'all, okay? I can read. It's just, damn, it makes me fall asleep. And me right now, with the way how I am, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm gonna knock out if I start reading again. So anywho, let's go ahead and move along. Remember how I mentioned that, you know, on the last episode, there were leaks about, you know, Shrek 5 coming out, and the post was on LinkedIn? Well, we found another post on LinkedIn again, where this is from a Gearbox developer announcing that the Borderlands 4, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands 2, and Brother in Arms are potentially going to be released. Of course, that post is now deleted, but a lot of people are now saying, oh, well, now we know we're getting a new game. I have played Borderlands 1 and maybe 2, and then Tales of the Borderlands as well from the Telltale games. And, you know, it is entertaining, but how would they do this? And me personally, will it do so good when it comes out? You know, but of course, there are a lot of fans for Borderlands themselves. I don't know about Tiny Tina's. Brothers in Arms, though, I don't know. We just have to see the trailer and see how it goes. But, of course, you've been warned for those that did not know that there was a post on LinkedIn. Now that that has been covered, we can now talk about WarGames. This one was much more different than the ones that we're used to watching. Usually it's SmackDown versus Raw, or, you know, my favorite Survivor Series, which was SmackDown versus Raw versus NXT. And, you know, each team has a wrestler representing the brand. And once they go up against each other, the winner obviously wins a point to their brand. This one was so different. I want to say there was a total of 5 matches, if I'm not mistaken. And they were really just, you know, I mean, the way how it started, obviously we had the women's war game match, which again, there was not that much promotion. It just, you know, like it happened overnight, and they were like, you know what, it's gonna be these people and this, and this. You know, no storyline whatsoever. And so what we got was the very first match, which was damage control with Charlotte, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, who to me feels so random, and Becky Lynch. Now, when I say damage control, it's like it's Bayley and three Japanese women, which at this point they should even have their own faction. Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io Sky. And, again, Becky is coming from Raw to go do this whole shebang, and it's like you had so many women in the SmackDown roster. You're telling me that none of these other women were, good enough to be a part of this match. It's pretty sad if you ask me. But then again, they were just like, it wasn't built. So when the match started, obviously I was bored. The only entertainment I got was every time somebody tries to enter the cage, after being released and to enter the ring, everybody in the crowd kept yelling they wanted tables, and I found it hilarious. No one brought in tables, and it's so funny because it would just be like people pulling in like trash cans and I think it was kendo sticks at one point, and chairs, all of that, except for, ladders too. Ladders was not in the match, thank God. But, you hear the crowd just booing at the women when they go inside the ring without a table. Everybody, went in until Asuka was left. Asuka was the last person to go in. And she, pulled out the kendo sticks, and people were like, ooh, is it kendo sticks? And then they pull it out. Yeah, but then they were like, boo, we want tables. And then all of a sudden, Asuka pulls two tables, and the crowd went nuts. That was the only time I got entertained. Obviously, when the women's were going up against each other, for those that do not know what the WarGames rules are, every it starts off with two members of each team go inside the ring. Then after that, it just depends who is the next person, if it's the one team or the other, Damage Control, or I would say Bianca Belair's team at that point, because again, it's just, there's no name for it. Whoever goes in next, they will obviously get the advantage point, because it's going to be 2 against 1 until the next member goes in. And at first, I want to say they start off for 5 minutes, and then little by little, they start reducing the time for 2 minutes, 3 minutes in a way. And then once every single member is inside the ring, and there's 2 rings, by the way, the WarGames will start. Then after that, there's 2 referees in each ring, just to make sure there is a pinfall, submission, whatever it is. The first team to win that and to get that submission or pinfall or whatever will win the whole match. So, and anything goes. Obviously, if you're in submission mode, you cannot jump to the ropes to escape. It doesn't count. You can bring as many weapons as you can before you enter the ring, and they will all be legal. So that was the whole thing with the women's WarGames. Of course, I noticed that Io Sky decided to reprise a move that she did on NXT WarGames when she was in NXT, where she puts herself in a trash can, aluminum trash can, if you will, and she just throws herself towards the people. It's a really crazy move. It's good, but for me, it's like I already seen it. What's new, basically? So. Once we got to see all of that, of course, Becky Lynch was the one that pinned Bayley, of all people. And, I was just like, Becky, honestly, in my personal opinion, I love Becky. I have no hate towards her. I mean, again, she's a fellow Aquarian like I am. But I feel like the pin should have been Bianca towards Bayley, because that was the whole reason this whole shebang started between them, because Bayley started attacking Bianca. Obviously we go back to, what was it, SummerSlam, was it? Oh my god, I don't think it was SummerSlam, I don't even remember. It was when Bianca won the women's champion, if you will, and she held it for like not even a minute until Io Sky came in and cashed in her Money in the Bank, and then boom, took that away from her. So, ever since then, Bianca's been having beef. Of course, she was MIA. Now she returned. So I'm like, it should have been Bianca to get the pin. It would have made sense. But, it is what it is. Whatever they decided to do, that's their thing. I mean, at this point, that first match, I was not invested in. And then afterwards, again, I was just paying attention to every single little detail that they might do. Because, again, I'm sure the men's War Game match was going to be the main event because there is a bunch of anticipation on there. And of course, you already read the title, so you already know what I'm talking about, but we will get to that. I'm telling you what happened in my experience as I watched it leading up to the event of what happened later on that night. And what I mean by that is once that women's War Games match was over, then we get a little segment saying, hey, and it was Sami Zayn too. Sami said, Randy Orton has not arrived at the arena, and I was freaking out because that was the thing. I hated that we got the announcement that Randy Orton on Monday. On Monday, we had the announcement that Randy Orton was going to be the 5th member joining Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and I forgot the other person. Can you believe that? And their team, Cody, sorry. But they're all in there. And, you know, again, since Drew McIntyre decided to join the Judgment Day, it's like, who's the 5th member? And I've been talking about this for weeks. Hell, I had a dream about it, you know. And so they said Randy Orton was going to be the 5th member. You know, Cody Rhodes was like, I'm going to call a no friend. And then right before Raw was about to end, they were like, you want to know who the 5th member is? You know, he's had quite a legacy. And obviously we all knew as soon as he said that, for those that have been watching Raw for years and years and on, he was talking about Randy Orton because, of course, him, Cody Rhodes, and Ted DiBiase's son was a Ted DiBiase Jr. They all joined the group called Legacy, and you know it was a pretty good team. So after that, you know, we were expecting Randy Orton, but when Sami Zayn said that, we were all freaking out. I was freaking out. The whole fucking crowd was chanting, "He who shall not be named just yet," basically. But I'm just like, let me find out. And, you know, me and my dad were trying to figure out how are they going to release it? Because it's like, you know, are they going to have whoever the person was going to be locked in a cage? You know, we were trying to figure out while the show kept on moving. So we'll talk about that as we get closer. But anywho, we had that little quick segment. And then after that, I want to say we had the Slim Jim commercial. We had a bunch of commercials. We had the Ruffles commercial, or promotion, if you say. It wasn't even a commercial at that point. They were promoting Ruffles, and then they were promoting Slim Jim. And we had R-Truth come out. And I was like, where you been? You know? I was like, you should have been back whenever John Cena was around, because I would have loved to see some little tag team action on there. But we haven't seen R-Truth make a fool of himself, or, you know, just give us the comedy memes, if you say, or if you will. Because honestly, R-Truth was the reason why I even tuned in to watch what little 24/7 champion segment he was going to pull. It's just, he was there for the laughs. Forget that he was even trying to, you know, wrestle or whatnot. He made us laugh, and I think that's why we adored him. So we got to see him come back. And then obviously we had the next match, which was Gunther versus The Miz. And, you know, now that you think about it, it's like, it's kind of with The Miz, it was a possibility he could have dethroned Gunther. But however, that match was not quite as impressive as I thought it'd be. Obviously, Gunther was the one that retained the Intercontinental Champion. But at the same time, it's like, who the fuck is it's like freaking Roman Reigns all over again. It's like, who's going to dethrone Gunther? Gunther's a really good wrestler. And obviously, I can see him have a championship opportunity. Have the Imperium have, you know, their little faction moment. You know, forget the Bloodline. Forget the Judgment Day. But I would love to see Gunther at the very top. But however, with everything that's been happening, it looks like Ludwig Kaiser's having a little beef with the Giovanni. They're having a little beef here and there, trying to see eye to eye to each other. And I'm just like, don't split them up. I mean, Gunther as a solo wrestler, he's great. Obviously, he doesn't need the other two. But I would love to see that faction, again, stay at the top. But anywho, he retained. The Miz, you know, he's there. He couldn't make it work. And, there is some comments that Triple H did say at the press conference, which I will also talk about as we get closer to this whole thing. After that, then it was Santos Escobar with this other wrestler who replaced Carlito, because apparently Santos Escobar beat up Carlito from right before the pay-per-view started. So it's like, oh, well, we're going to have another wrestler come in and replace him. Again, he's brand new to where I can't even remember his name. But he also came in from NXT, so there is some athleticism in there, so he could be a really good competitor for Santos. However, during the match, as they were going up against each other, Chicago, the whole crowd, keep in mind, Chicago is the third largest city in the world. We have a bunch of they have a bunch of Hispanics in there. And all the freaking Hispanics started chanting culero at Santos Escobar because he was trying to attempt to take the mask of the opponent, which, he wears. And if you guys do not know, in the Mexican tradition, it is very disrespectful to be taking the wrestler's mask off. And it's something that they like to do in WWE. So it's like when he was trying to do that, the whole crowd was hating on Santos. Unfortunately, Santos did end up winning that match. And, it felt short, in my personal opinion. It felt really short. But then again, at the end of the day, it's not like a Hispanic match will ever have as much time than a regular match when it's very entertaining. So there's that, The next one was obviously Rhea Ripley defending the World Women's Champion against Zoe Stark, which I already knew Rhea was going to win. Ain't no way Zoe's gonna have a good, I don't know how to explain it. She's not really that good of a competitor when it compares to Rhea. I cannot see anybody defeating Rhea at this point. Not even Charlotte, I haven't even seen Becky go up against her. But Rhea is still going to be at the top for quite some time. I could see her have the champion for over a year or so, So I feel like Rhea, to this day, she will continue to retain because she's that good of a wrestler. She's really good as an entertainer as well. So I cannot see her letting go of that title. So I'm like, move aside, Zoe. There wasn't that much hype whenever she won the number one contender match. I was like, nah, it ain't time. However, I would like to see Rhea go up against Nia individually, but we cannot trust Nia whatsoever because she likes to injure a lot of people. Literally on her return, she injured Rhea already. And, Rhea was out for quite some time, and plus she needed to recover. She came back, still coming up strong, and it's like there's something going on. But I'm scared that Nia's gonna, injure Rhea again, so keep her away from everybody. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the most important thing that just happened in WarGames, which was the men's WarGames match. Now, this one, obviously on Monday, they had a match to where whoever wins will get the advantage. And for those that did not watch Raw this past Monday, it was Drew McIntyre going up against Jey Uso. And in there, obviously, Drew McIntyre has beef with Jey, even before Jey was still with the bloodline. And so Drew won that match, giving Judgment Day the advantage. So we already knew whenever the two competitors go in the ring, it's going to be Judgment Day going up first. And I cannot remember who were the first two people that were in the ring. I want to say it was JD McDonough and Jey. I want to say, I cannot, again, I don't know who, but I started noticing this little pattern because I'm like, they're not gonna, like we were thinking, they're not gonna announce the fifth member of, let's say, Cody's team at this point. And they're gonna wait at the very, very end, and again, we're thinking, is it really gonna be Randy Orton coming back, or is it really CM Punk, So we're waiting, and then I started doing the pattern, and I'm like, well, if Judgment Day goes first, then it will be Cody's team. And then you start doing the math, and of course it makes perfect sense. So yeah, this was hella planned. You can already tell this was hella planned. So yeah, by the time, the last member comes in, then we have to wait who's going to be the fifth member. And then after that, the War Games match is going to start. Because ain't no way they're going to start the match without that fifth member. Now, I started noticing the pattern and all of that. People were going in and out. Obviously Drew and Damian Priest are having some beef going on because, again, Damian doesn't trust Drew. And it's sad because, at one point when it was time for Judgment Day to go, Drew McIntyre looked like he was going to step in and go first. But Damian Priest stopped him and told him, stick to the plan. And I'm like, oh, okay. And Drew was like telling him, wasn't this part of the plan? And he's like, no, not that. My plan. Because there are a lot of talks to see who's the leader of the Judgment Day. Obviously, I think Cody even said that they think the leader is Rhea, even though she's a woman, it looks like she's calling the shots. And, when she's over there talking to Damian, it's like, they're trying to do it as a group effort. So it's like you can see the Judgment Day slowly rumbling to its collapse. And I don't know what's going to happen because I feel like, again, this storyline could go for so long because it's so entertaining. You have so many members in here with so different storylines, and it makes it so entertaining. So it's like, do not split the Judgment Day up just yet. I know WWE is known for splitting up so many tag teams, but I'm like, just wait, I'm like, do whatever you want with Imperium right now. Just stay away from Judgment Day right now. But anywho, afterwards, of course, the last members that went in, Cody was the last one before the fifth member, and then Dominic Mysterio was the last one for Judgment Day. Once Dominic goes in the ring, we're waiting for the fifth member, and we're all trying to figure out who is it. Is it Randy? Is it CM Punk? And once the timer goes off, everybody just stays quiet and tries to figure out who it is. And all of a sudden, all you hear is, I hear voices inside my head, and it was Randy. The pop was good and loud. I loved it. We haven't seen Randy for over a year. I think it was a back injury that he got. And, we missed him. We've seen him, on videos. We've seen him where he was at. But it's like we miss him as a wrestler. And when he came out pretty jacked. Damn. I'm like, 43 is looking good for you, man. And he comes in and, obviously he does his moves. And it's pretty entertaining. We forgot all about CM Punk at that point because it's like, oh, okay, well, Randy's here, Randy's back, okay, good, and that match was also entertaining. They didn't add any weapons if I think about it. Oh my god, and I skipped an important part too. Right before Randy was gonna go in, Rhea comes out with the briefcase trying to take the championship from Seth Rollins, and that's when Randy came in. It would have made perfect sense if when Rhea came out and then Randy comes in and RKO's Rhea, because homeboy literally doesn't care what gender you are. He will give you an RKO. He gave an RKO to Nia Jax. So that's something else we cannot wait to see. And ever since Nia Jax came back, everybody's been wanting Randy to come back. And I feel like that helped a lot. So now it's pretty good that Randy came back, because now he would actually, I would love to see it. He would actually give Rhea an RKO. And I want to see that. I cannot wait. But yeah, besides that, the match started, everything was good, very entertaining, very hilarious. There was at one point where they fucking hang JD McDonough all the way to the very top of the cell, and they threw him only for Randy to give him that freaking RKO that was hella good. I mean, well, if you think about it, I want to say the one that my personal favorite RKO was the one where it happened in WrestleMania. I'm trying to remember the number, but it's not gonna come in my head. It's not. I want to say it's 35, but I don't think it's 35. I don't even know. 31 maybe. 31. I don't know. But it's the one where it was him and Seth Rollins going up against each other. This was literally when the Authority was still a thing. Seth Rollins is a villain and all of that. He and whatnot. This was right before Seth Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank against Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and became the WWE champion. But before that, it was the part where Seth Rollins was about to give him, I think it was a curb stomper, and homeboy was high up in the air, and Randy Orton still managed to catch him and give him a nasty ass RKO. Like, it was so beautiful. Like, that one executed beautifully with a chef's kiss. Now, here, that was like, I mean, yeah, sure, they threw JD McDonough all the way over there for Randy to give him that RKO, but I'm like, meh. And then after that, Randy let Cody get the win. I would have loved to see Randy got the win, but I mean, hey. But he gave it to Cody. Cody ended up pinning JD, I think. And then the match was over, literally. And after that, I'm over here like, again, me as everybody else, we forgot about CM Punk. I was like, well, Randy's here. There ain't no way he's coming back. And my dad's over here telling me like, hey, can you log into that Apple TV Plus? And I was like, yeah, sure. Go ahead and, get the thingy off. And I'm on the side trying to put something up. And I come back. And the moment I came back, like the thing was about to be over. And then cut Cody's music. And all of a sudden, CM Punk's music started going off. And I'm like, what the? I was on my knees, y'all. I literally fell to the floor. And I'm like, what? Like, I was not expecting two things to come true. Randy and CM Punk. Oh, and R-Truth, obviously. But when I heard the music, I'm like, holy fucking shit. And the first thing that came up in my mind is AEW is no longer relevant because of that. Now I mentioned this in my previous episodes about the whole beef that's been happening between CM Punk and AEW, and there was a reason why I was not as let's say it wasn't as like, oh well, there should be some professionalism, and if CM Punk cannot do it, there's no point of him coming to WWE. And, whenever that whole drama started happening backstage with AEW to where it led to CM Punk being released, terminated from his contract and all of that, I want to say there was like comments saying that WWE was not planning to hire CM Punk for that reason, because of the professionalism. And, a lot of things happen. Obviously the last time CM Punk was in WWE was in 2013. I want to say it's been 10 years, literally 10 years. And when CM Punk went to AEW, his very first appearance, he talked shit about WWE, of how it made him sick, and now it's like, there's so many changes, but is WWE still the same, Cody mentioned it before when he returned to WWE. It's different. It's less toxic, for the same reason that, I guess corporate or whoever, they're keeping up with the wrestlers' health. You got so many programs and all of that. And if they abuse it, they get let go, they get suspended, whatever the whole shebang is. And it's never about like being all territorial or, who's the best, this and that. It's that level of professionalism. It's like it's the same way in the workplace. You got to be respectful to your coworkers. Same way here, you got to be respectful with the wrestlers, And so a lot has changed, and, Cody confirmed that. So it's like if CM Punk comes in and with this whole thing, with these whole changes, I'm hoping it benefits them. But again, only time will tell, because at the end of the day, CM Punk, even though he is considered the best in the world, he has to pass the torch to somebody else. And that's the thing, because you're never going to be the same as you were, 10 years ago. People get old, people get injured easily. The reason why we see Randy Orton more is because he started young. He literally started when he was in his 20s, I want to say 20 or even 19, whatever it is. He started very young and he's looking good for his age. CM Punk, ever since he was in AEW, there was a little few botches here and there and him getting injured and all of that. And it's not good. And CM Punk is actually 2 years older than Randy Orton. So it's like, everybody's different. And, we see Chris Jericho too. Homeboy's like in his 50s and he can still wrestle. But, with CM Punk, it's a little bit tricky. And I don't think he understands that he cannot be at his peak every day. He can't be like Roman Reigns, for example, having a champion for 2+ years. So for me, it's like, okay, well, what could happen in this whole thing? There's more. Obviously, right after WarGames, we had the press conference, and the first person to go in was Triple H. And in there, like, homeboy started off really hilarious. He comes in, greets everybody and whatnot. And he's like, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room. R-Truth is back. And I'm like, boy, please, no. Like, I can't. Oh my God. Like, he cracked me up. And I forgot about R-Truth. But it's like, bro, acknowledge Randy Orton too. But he did explain that the reason why CM Punk returned was because of the demand of the fans. If the WWE universe wants it, they're gonna have to have him. The rest, they're gonna have to work it out. Obviously, he didn't talk about what happened. Obviously, for reasons, competitor reasons, they didn't talk about what happened at AEW. But it did sounded like they are aware of the situation, and it's probably gonna be best to like try to work it out so it doesn't happen here in WWE, because they're probably looking out after Phil or CM Punk, however you guys want to call him. They are looking out for him and his success, because now he's working for his retirement. Again, he's 45. He needs to start talking serious. Eventually, he could manage someone at one point and still make money within WWE. And if he does have to retire from wrestling, good. He can always work backstage. That's something AJ Styles is trying to do too. When he signed the multi-year contract, he said WWE is his retirement place. And, what he wants to do is wrestle as much as he can. And if he cannot wrestle, he'll work backstage, but he will retire in WWE. So I guess that's what they want, the same way with CM Punk. So a lot can happen. A lot can happen here. And I honestly, personally, the way what I'm thinking is CM Punk at one point, he's going to have to go up against Seth Rollins. And the reason why I say this is because there's a lot of videos surfacing on my TikTok this morning of what happened after the WarGames pay-per-view was over. CM Punk is still out there. Seth Rollins was not having it. Homeboy was flicking him, like he was flicking CM Punk off, cursing him, yelling at him. He had like other referees pulling him back. Michael Cole and Corey Graves were also pulling him back, trying to get him to calm down. Like, it was bad. But I don't know if this is an act. I don't know if this is planned, because it was off of the cameras, So, but Seth Rollins does not like CM Punk. And it's funny too, because it's like, there is a clip where he called him a cancer. And I feel like Seth, the way how he is, it's like, it's not just with him, it's also with Cody too. And I want to say it was because it was in the beginning stages when Cody came back to WWE. Seth was more like, you betrayed my company. I don't have any respect for you, which makes total sense. But at the same time, it's like, again, people go out of their ways to other places for their own benefit. And here it's Seth, I guess he is very loyal to the company, to WWE, which is great. But, you also have to respect the decisions that WWE makes, and it means to get along with these people. Obviously, he got along with Cody just fine, during WarGames. But seeing CM Punk, it was more like, no, I don't know what they're going to do. If they do it, it's probably going to be like in WrestleMania or something. Damian Priest might have to be holding that briefcase a little bit longer, or maybe Fella cash in, whatever it is. But I feel like, or if not, Damian Priest becomes champion and Seth has to do this whole storyline with CM Punk, and praying and hoping it benefits CM Punk, because there might not be a title to go afterwards, whatever it is. Whether CM Punk is going to be a villain or a good guy. There's so many potential storylines here, which were not addressed in the freaking press conference. So we will see. Only time will tell. I cannot wait to see WWE Raw, obviously, tomorrow, to see what's going to happen if CM Punk is going to come out to talk to the whole world, see what his plans are. But I swear to God, let me find out he's going to be trash talking the other competitor, AEW. So we will see. Anywho, other things were also addressed during the press conference. One person in particular asked Triple H the question about Jade Cargill, which is something I was thinking about too. We haven't seen Jade Cargill, on TV for a minute now, and we were wondering, like, what, are they gonna bury her, And Triple H did say that, it's not, obviously creative direction, whatever it is. It's that they believe they're ready. They're just waiting for Jade Cargill to say she's ready. And once she says she's ready and what direction she wants to go, they will throw her there and let her do her thing. So, but right now we're just waiting on her, and I'm praying, hoping she ain't taking that long, because I feel like the women's division really needs a little shape up from her, because she can bring a lot of good into this, and, probably push aside the bad wrestlers from the good wrestlers. A lot of people want to see Jade go up against Bianca or Charlotte or Becky. There's so many people, Eventually, I would love to see her to go up against Rhea too, to see who would stay on top. But yeah, this is pretty interesting, and I'm praying, hoping Jade, hurries up, because, again, the women's division is in desperate need of more demand. So there's that. Afterwards, Triple H left, then Becky and Charlotte came out, and we had some little beef going on there, and I think I mentioned it, in the previous episode. Obviously, Becky and Charlotte didn't get to see eye to eye for quite some time now, but ever since with this match, it's like, okay, we are getting Char Lynch back. That's what they call them. It's like, we're getting Char Lynch back, and what's gonna happen now that they won this WarGames match? One person asked them if, now that they rekindled this relationship, will they consider being a tag team, And Charlotte was like, think of it like we're barely dating, like we're trying to figure out what we want, this and that, but they believe it might be later on in the future, whatever it is, but it's not gonna happen anytime soon. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do. And another thing that they asked, I forgot what it was exactly, the question, but the way how Becky was saying was that, she thanks Charlotte for letting her grow, because Becky wouldn't been the same way if it wasn't for Charlotte, and Charlotte wouldn't been the same way if it wasn't for Becky. They owe it to each other for making themselves that great. A lot of history was made between each other, and it was so sad, because then Becky, it looked like she cried, and then Charlotte's like, oh, and I'm like, please stop, you are making me cry at a press conference, like, no. But yeah, after that, they left, and then we did see Gunter, and Gunter was more like, I think this was actually before Becky and Charlotte, and I skipped him, I forgot. But Gunter was actually waiting for somebody to go up to him and say, I would like to have a storyline for you. He's not asking people like, oh, I want to wrestle for you. It's like he wants them to ask him, because he's like he believes he has gone through so many matches, and they earn it, which he respects too. They earn the opportunity, but it's like, it's been so long and he hasn't been defeated, so it's like, who's next? In a way, kind of like Goldberg. Oh God, do not put Goldberg against Gunter, because we need somebody good. But anywho, the last person to show up at the press conference was actually Cody, and this one was pretty interesting. He literally shows up and saying something. He comes in and he's like, I have a letter prepared, this, and that. I don't know if it's because, he was having fun, celebrating, drinking, even though the match just happened, so I don't think he even had time to get drunk. But he started reading something off of a paper. And then this boy was like saying, this was during my time as an EVP, pulling the AEW EVP card. And I'm like, this boy, oh my God. But he did also address the whole CM Punk situation, because again, they were both from AEW. And so he believes that the version that we're getting from this CM Punk is, quote, hungry. And he thinks it's good because they can do so much with that. As long as CM Punk wants, whatever it is that they're going to give him is going to be good for, WWE, the business. And they also talked about, Randy Orton, and, how, like, they asked him how excited was he knowing that Randy Orton is back. And it's like Cody gets emotional just talking about it, because he looked up to Randy when he first started in WWE. Randy was the one that showed him the ropes and all of that. And I'm just like, another tag team opportunity, like, but what will happen with Jey Uso? Like, what's gonna happen? But I'm glad to see some of the legacy in there. It's pretty good. But Cody's happy that we got Randy Orton. He's glad that CM Punk is in the area. It's like, it's crazy when you leave WWE, go to the competition, make a name for yourself, and then coming back to WWE with that name. It's crazy. But it's also sad, because it's like, you could have done it while you were in WWE. There was no need for you to quit. But then again, that's everywhere now. Like, you can be in a company for 5+ years but not get the raise that you deserve, and yet they hire new people and they get that, like, they make more than you, and you're just like, what the fuck am I doing here? And you have no choice but to quit, find a job that pays you well, and then, boom. And that's how it is nowadays. It's better to just keep looking for opportunities for yourself where you can actually earn the money that you deserve, instead of staying at a company for so long. And I feel like WWE is just the same way. These people, they're trying so hard to get noticed. They're trying so hard to make a name for themselves in WWE, only for them to get buried, disrespected, and they have no choice but to quit and go to the second promotion. If they make it in that second promotion, WWE is gonna want it. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on over here, But it's starting to be a thing now, because the first person to do it was Cody. And now we have CM Punk. Now we have Jade Cargill was not WWE, but she was just solely on AEW, and we have her here. So only time would tell what could happen. Me, honestly, I'm excited because WWE is now relevant again. I remember how before it was all about AEW and less about WWE, and now it's more of WWE and less AEW. And I forgot to mention, the only thing that AEW needs to work on a lot is not only the women's division, but these storylines just don't make any sense now. Remember how I mentioned about MJF? Homeboy, like, literally Full Gear was last Saturday, and they had a match to where it was MJF and Samoa Joe versus I forgot who, and supposedly MJF got injured and he couldn't defend his AEW World Champion against Jay White, so they had to get Adam Cole, who is supposedly also injured, to defend that champion. And for some reason, MJF still came in and managed to defend it well. And Jay White lost it. And I'm like, see, and this is where we needed that improvement, because I know Bullet Club Gold can actually carry AEW. That whole, faction is good for the company, but they still want to give MJF the opportunity. So it's like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. A lot of people are also trying to, compare some of the comments that CM Punk said, before he got terminated, where he says that he works with a bunch of children. And it's like people are starting to assume that maybe AEW is just toxic, immature. People just, don't want to do what they're told. Who knows? But it's like, there is a lot of work that needs to be done there. Can it be done? And, will it help them? Only time will tell, But everybody's now saying that AEW is starting to lose it, and it's kind of sad. So I don't know if they're gonna make any improvements, but it's also sad to just know that the comments that WWE has made in the past, it's like, competitions come and go, but WWE still stays on top. And it's kind of sad to hear, because they also tend to piss us off. We could, like, again, this also proves again that wrestling fans will never be happy. Just know that if you're a wrestling fan, you can never be happy with anything that we get, but me personally, I'm a fan of wrestling. I'm a fan of these wrestlers. CM Punk, however, like how Triple H said, whether you love him or hate him, he's good for the business. And me, it's like, it's not that I hate him. It's just that I wish he could do better, Professionally speaking, he could be a really great person. And he could make himself a great name and a great person to look up to. But I don't know why he makes it so hard. Why was he being difficult? And I'm hoping it might be different here in WWE, because again, we don't know exactly what's been happening backstage at AEW. Maybe he did leave for good reasons, and him leaving is a way for the fans to open their eyes of how toxic AEW might be. We never know, but that's my opinion, and I'm praying and hoping that, professionally speaking, he can be right for WWE and hopefully Seth Rollins. That basically ends the episode. Again, make sure to follow my social media accounts. It's at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X if you want to. X is not gonna last that long either. I heard that they removed the commercials or whatever from the platform, and me, I'm like, I haven't been on X for a while. I don't even know why I still have the app. But anywho, follow me on those accounts, preferably on Instagram, and follow me on TikTok at Lielers on TikTok. Remember how I mentioned that video that I posted had like 6,000 likes? Well, I checked right now. It's already at 8,928. I'm about to be at 9,000 likes. I swear to God. Watch that. By the time this episode gets uploaded, it's going to hit 10K. Who knows? I don't know. But definitely follow me on TikTok. You never know what I'm going to post, repost, whatever it is. But definitely go follow me. And thank you again to everybody else that's following me. I'm so close to 430 followers. Let's go. I'll let you know when I hit 500. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys on the next one.